Hi there, welcome to another text and talk about Stellaris Dev Diary 63, Synthetic and Biological Ascension. Some new ascension paths are in the focus. The synthetic one, is effectively transforming your people from biological beings to synthetic, half-synthetic beings, cyborgs, and then to robots. The biological ascension is, on the other hand, transforming yourselves slowly to super beings. That's also something to decide and something to do. So the synthetics also will transform yourself into beings that no longer need food, but instead energy. Biological ones have some really other and very good positive traits, on the other hand. So, we'll be talking about Ascension again. Ascension is something that is probably not foreign to you from older space games like Ascendancy. If you remember that, you must be very old. Or from the other game that I'm playing, Wizardry 8. But now, let's see. It's something that is connected also to the psionic ascension path and the associated shroud. So we're opening up something else about the mechanics of this. It's not as radical as the psionic ascension path. That hasn't existed before. It is just something that is built into existing mechanics of the game. There were droids already, there were synthetics, but you hadn't the chance to transform your people into synthetics. And you can do that now. So let's look for the synthetic ascension path. It focuses on abandoning your frail biological forms for that of a perfect machine. First step, the flesh is weak, requires the droid's technology and allows you to modify your entire population through a special project, turning them into cyborgs. It gives them an immediate 20% boost to habitability, as well as bonuses to mineral production and army damage, and also makes any leaders generated from those species have the cyborg trait, granting an additional 40 years of lifespan. Of course, they need heavy maintenance, but they live 40 years longer. Let's see about this event. No, it's not really an event, it's like a decision. The flesh is weak. We now possess both the technology to make advanced cybernetic implants and the means to mass produce them. Medical centers throughout the United Nations of Earth are standing by to begin the surgical grafting process on our citizens. In the future, possessing neural implants and at least a rudimentary level of cybernetics will be necessary to function in the technological society we are building. Consequently, the conversion process to install the basic cybernetic suit will be mandatory and free of cost to all of our citizens. You must embrace this technology. You always wanted Twitter in your head. Now you can get it. So the super updates. You don't need to check anymore. Your brain checks for you. And you don't need good eyes anymore. You have a camera in your eyes. Isn't that exciting? And you're not affected by poisons anymore because you have, I don't know, some kind of oil instead of blood into your veins. So let's see about that. She's superhuman, so she's cyborg. That would be a cyborg leader. Leader lifespan plus 40 years. Have the standard human ethics that are assumed. This leader has been heavily augmented with cybernetic implants that have far greater service lives than the obsolescent organic body parts they replaced. Oh. So what would you have then? Of course, eyes is the classic, right? Maybe hands, mechanical hands with superhuman strength. So let's look at the next step of the synthetic ascension path. Next step, synthetic evolution requires the ability to build synths and allows you to upgrade your cyborg population to fully mechanical forms, finally abandoning the frailty of flesh for the surety of synthetics. When it is complete, you will become a fully robotic empire with a robotic primary species. Your population will benefit from all the advantages normally conferred to synths in production and research, and all your leaders will be immortal able to be killed only in battle or through events. You will also naturally no longer require food for your synthetic population, instead being replaced by an energy maintenance similar to regular synths. You will also be able to name your new gloriously post-biological people the mechanoid. Yeah, that's... So you can transform yourself into a new species, a better species. The synths. It's going to be crazy. Would you like to be a synth? I don't know if I would like to be a synth, but I know that my grandfather wants to be a synth because he's very old and he's always talking about getting some cyborg implants to replace his failing eyes and his failing that and his failing that. He'd appreciate it at the age of over 90. So there's that. So if you're getting 90, then make yourself a synthetic. So that's going to be crazy for the roleplay aspect of the game, because they are the sci-fi literature and films, movies is full of these stories, like of entire races like converting themselves, remaking them to better machine-based civilizations. It's going to be crazy, and should they be able to get a hive mind as well, like the network? A network? Would they lose their individuality if they are made all the same? Or are they not made the same? Like, would you have a Ferrari synth, and would you have like more like a Land Rover synth? Or would you have an Intel synth or an AMD synth? Would these factions lead battles against each other? I know of a story that was recently in the media where I think it was in Russia, or maybe that's a hoax, but like I think an Nvidia fanatic killed an AMD fanatic when they were drunk and arguing. So there might be conflicts in that. I mean, what kind of augmentations do you have? No, mine are better. So, now to the biological ascension path. It focuses on mastery of DNA and evolution. So, you're in tune with nature in an engineered way. First step, engineered evolution, requires the gene tailoring technology and grants a major reduction to the cost and time required to genetically modify species, gives you +2 trait points, also unlocks the ability to research the gene seed purification technology, which is otherwise unavailable. It can still be researched as normal for those who do not have the Utopia expansion though, allowing recruitment of gene warriors only then. So let's see about the event that you trigger there. Sometimes the engineered evolution. Sometimes evolution needs a nudge in the right direction. We now have the technology to genetically modify our bodies and minds to endure the trials of an ever-changing environment at an unprecedented rate. Excellent. We'll transform ourselves. We'll regrow our limbs. We will have horns for... I don't know. I don't know what we'll have horns for, but horns are cool. We don't need the helmets with the horns then. So the next step, evolutionary mastery, requires the targeted gene expressions technology. It grants an additional +3 even trait points, further reduction in time and cost of gene modding, and unlocks the ability to research the genetic resequencing technology, which once researched unlocks advanced gene modding. With that gene modding, you'll be able to add negative traits, remove positive traits, allowing you to completely reshape a species at your whim. Also unlocks 5 new traits that are exclusively available to the biological ascension paths, and these traits are robust. Upgrades from extremely adaptable, adds 30% habitability and an extra 30 years of lifespan, so they can live everywhere and for a very long time. Then fertile, from rapid breeders, gives 30% minus growth time and 5% more happiness. You know what they're doing in the evenings, right? Erudite, upgrades from intelligent, gives 20% instead of 10% science production and +1 leader skill levels. Wow. And delicious. What? Delicious? Makes the species delicious and nutritious, creating 100% food yield from processing and livestock. Alright, so you capture some planets from a species you don't like, then you transform them into being delicious, and then you eat them up and harvest them. And resettling gives a whole new story. Oh my god. Also, nerve stapled removes the ability of the species to feel happiness or sadness. Happiness is disabled and food or mineral production increased, but adds major penalties to other resource production. So food and... yeah, that would be like the perfect slaves. They are nerve stapled. They are damped down. Oh my god. I mean, if you read into these, this is great for roleplay, but who would you be to use that? That makes you like the... wow. To roleplay an evil race must be crazy good now. A race with no boundaries, using all means to that end. Let's look at the triggered event. Evolutionary Mastery Gun are the days when the survival of our species was at the mercy of a chance. When a human's fate was decided on the whims of nature in the genetic lottery. The engineers of our time work not in steel and concrete, but in the very building blocks of life itself. With advanced gene modification, we will secure the future of our nation. That even rhymes. It's so convincing. Look at them. They have... I don't know. That wall here is probably robust, right? Ooh. And you can... that's new. You can also add negative traits to give yourself more of these points. You can transform some of these, and also, that's something new too, they will count as belonging to your original species, I think, for xenophobe reasons. So if you have xenophobes and you have subspecies of the xenophobes, I think, if I remember right, I think they will count as the same species for the xenophobic trait. So you can have Arctic humans and, I don't know, tropical humans, but they're all humans, so they like each other still, even if they hate other people, usually. So that's gonna be crazy. Like, the abilities you have there, I mean, there were some people who were playing, like, robot species, but this, like, opens up a history to it too, so it's really cool to have that, your selection. So, ooh. There are going to be really nice possibilities coming. It's gonna be pretty cool. So, what do you think? What would you choose? Would you choose rather the way to robotics, or would you make yourself super humanoid if you could do that? And in the game, what would be your choice there? What do you want to try out most? So that's what I'd like to hear. Also, next week there'll be a variety of smaller features coming in the Banks update, including the ability to terraform Mars. So something special for the human race. So the human race is one of the most played in Stellaris. So they're adding something more fun to it. So we could really choose the human race and then be able to terraform Mars. If you choose the Sol system, that is, as the starting system. So with that said, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'm regularly putting out videos about the new things coming in Stellaris. So, like, usually the dev diary is usually on the same day somewhere. And also, like all the other developments, on Saturday or Sunday I'll have a Twitter weekly sum up of the Stellaris things coming. So where I'm harvesting the official channels and that, and yeah, so if you want to be up to date, there's also like guides coming, and there's also some guides. They are mainly for beginners of the game, but also it may give you one or the other nice hint if you're an experienced player, or you might have something to add that as well. And there's our long-running Let's Play, like the second one. The first one is completed already, of the Cthulhu Myth. Now it's Snail Wars, and that's going to be in an ending phase as well, as we're going to start anew in Utopia. Probably I'll be asking about getting some empires from the community, as usually. One guy, one empire. Like to see about the conditions. I'll make a video about that. So if you like all that, I'd propose you to subscribe, and so we can stay in contact. That we're really happy about that. So with all of that said, see you in one of the next videos. Happy gaming to you, and have a good time until then.